I'm Darren Sugiyama, founder and CEO of Lionsmark Capital, the most transparent premium financing intermediary in the life insurance industry. In business, you must have a great USP or a unique selling proposition that answers the question, why should someone do business with you, only you, and nobody else? Well, at Lionsmark Capital, we have three key things that make us unique, things that no other premium financing firm does. The first one is that we have multiple financing platforms. The premium finance life insurance should be a highly personalized solution. And while most firms take a one-size-fits-all approach, we have 5 different core lending platforms, each one built for a specific type of client, based on their net worth, their cash flow, liquidity, risk tolerance, and the type of business they're in. Now, some designs are more leveraged than others, and some are less leveraged. The less leveraged ones require much less outside collateral, and in some cases, no collateral whatsoever. In some loan models, we'll have the client pay 25 to 35% of the premium out of pocket and then borrow the remaining premium, kind of like putting a larger down payment on a house and mortgaging less of the purchase. Now, again, we have 5 different loan models built for 5 different categories of client needs. Now, we even have some loan models wherein we'll use real estate equity as outside collateral, something very unique to premium financing. Currently, our rate is prime minus 1.5%, making it competitive with other traditional SOFR and Treasury-based lenders. The second unique offering is that we have our backtesting software. About a decade ago, I went around to all the carriers and talked to their advanced markets attorneys and their compliance departments and said, what I really want to do is build an educationally based tool that shows a client how policy charges and index crediting methodologies actually work. With floors and caps, and eventually with multiplier bonuses and asset-based charges. Because a carrier illustration only shows a static positive return every year. What I wanted to show was how cash value outcomes could be affected by volatility and a poor sequence of returns, more transparently disclosing these risks to the clients. Well, after multiple rounds of Q&A sessions with tons of carrier attorneys, we finally arrived at an agreement of what I could and what I couldn't show a client in order to stay compliant, especially with AG 489. So what keeps our software reports compliant is that we say that these are not life insurance illustrations, but rather a proxy for the real-world products. In other words, a fictitious hypothetical synthetic asset that behaves similar to real-world products. So we have a proxy for an IUL. We have a proxy for an equities and bonds account, and we use the actual historical S&P 500 returns as well as historical T-bond returns to model different outcomes in our proxies. Now, this may sound like overkill, but we literally analyze 121 different historical 40-year periods, tagging the 40-year period that produced the best compound annual growth rate and the 40-year period that produced the worst compounded annual growth rate. And then we also produce a synthetic 40-year period that starts off with the worst decade in modern history, the years between 2000 and 2009. This custom modeling creates scenarios that show the client a range of outcomes. So in addition to showing the client the carrier illustration, we believe showing the client different volatile scenarios, and the outcomes that they may produce is better than solely showing them a positive static return every year in perpetuity, which we all know will never happen in reality. So our proprietary software has the ability to show a client historical borrowing rates as well. It models the historical relationship between borrowing rates and index crediting rates, which is incredibly important in understanding both the benefits of positive arbitrage over time, as well as the risks of negative arbitrage during years wherein the borrowing rate is higher than the crediting rate. Without this backtesting software, how would you ever really know if a premium financing design would weather the storm and the stress of volatility in a poor sequence of returns? To me, putting a client in a premium finance life insurance policy without this method of stress testing and backtesting is just plain irresponsible. So when you work with Lionsmark Capital, we put every single case design through this rigorous stress testing process using our proprietary software. It just makes you and your client sleep well at night, knowing that we did the due diligence that no other premium financing intermediary has the capability of doing. And lastly, the third thing that makes us unique is we produce a 30-minute custom video of me explaining your client's proposal using their actual numbers. Because at the end of every client meeting, they'll typically ask us to send them a copy of the proposal, which we obviously do. However, let's face it, they're never going to remember every single detail of what we discussed. And God forbid if they try to explain it to their spouse. I don't know about you, but every time I try to explain something to my wife that I'm not an expert in, I sound like a total idiot. So we produce this custom video where it's actually me going over their customized proposal, including everything from collateral to variable interest rates, using our backtesting software. We then upload this video to a private cloud, and then we send a link to the client so they can circulate it to their spouse, their CPA, their attorney, or whoever they want. And that way, they're hearing the explanation right out of my mouth, which ensures it's being articulated in an accurate, compliant, and transparent manner. The client can then pause, rewind, and rewatch any sections they want, which is great from an educational standpoint and from a compliance standpoint. And it makes it virtually impossible for you or me to be accused of not disclosing the important details, including the risks and the variables that this sophisticated strategy employs. So if you're asking yourself, why do my premium finance business with Lionsmark Capital? Those three unique attributes are attributes that no other premium financing intermediary has. And lastly, you also get me, personally presenting all of this to your clients at the point of sale. And to quote the illustrious Deion Primetime Sanders, if you kick me or pass me the ball, you're going to hear the band play, meaning that I will get the ball into the end zone for us. My job in working with advisors is to put points on the board. And I hope this doesn't come across as being cocky, but there is no one better at working directly with the client than me. Now, I know that's a big claim, but click on the About Us tab on our website here and scroll down to the testimonials section, and you can watch over 20 video clips of advisors talking about their experiences putting me in front of their clients. So if you're looking for someone to develop and expand your premium financing business, test me out on a couple cases for starters. And once you get a taste of my process, you'll never do business with another premium financing intermediary ever again. So I'm really glad you found us, and I look forward to helping you become even more successful than you already are. Again, I'm Darren Sugiyama, and this is our unique selling proposition.